On the 31st of January during the crossover night, the man of God Apostle Marcel Chiatim gave a prophetic message concerning the nation USA. And he emphasized on the state Washington, D.C. These were his words.
Let us commit the American nation in prayer and pray very well for the state Washington, D.C. I see flames, but yet I have not understood the meaning of it, but it will happen. Our prayer will go a long way to save some lives.
Events in Washington have taken a violent and tumultuous turn in the past few hours, as thousands of supporters of President Trump stormed the U.S. Capitol building, venting their anger at the victory of Joe Biden in the presidential election. They forced the evacuation and lockdown of Congress itself, where lawmakers were all set to approve the election result. Shortly before the clashes, President Trump had addressed his supporters near the White House, telling them that he would never accept defeat. Within the past hour, President-elect Biden called on Mr. Trump to tell his people to go home, and within minutes, that was indeed the message delivered from the White House. We'll be live on Capitol Hill shortly. First, we'll have this report by our North America editor, John Sopel.
The peaceful transfer of power, the cornerstone of American democracy, seemed a highly abstract concept today, as Trump supporters clashed with police as they tried, and succeeded, to storm the Congress, where America's elected leaders had gathered to certify the election victory of Joe Biden. Earlier, in a rally outside the White House, Donald Trump encouraged his loyal base to fight to overturn the result of this bitterly contested election.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
It is hard to put into words what exactly we witnessed today, because we have not seen this before. Thousands storming the Capitol after a rally with President Trump, during which he urged them to march on the Capitol, where a joint session of Congress was debating and working to certify the election as our democracy dictates. Instead, they were halted by protesters who smashed through the doors, broke their way into the Capitol, making it to the Senate chamber, and throughout the Capitol, overwhelming police. Lawmakers diving for cover, told to shelter in place, the country watching, the world watching what America looked like today. The mob storming the barriers, pushing through this door, Capitol Police unable to hold them back. Others smashing through windows at the Capitol. There were so many chaotic moments, the tense interactions with Capitol Police overwhelmed, members of Congress and their staffs rushing for cover, reporters told not to reveal their whereabouts. This image tonight of a man walking through Statuary Hall carrying a Confederate flag. Another startling image from inside the office of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Some trying to breach the House chamber, armed security barricading the door, keeping them out. Behind them, members were taking shelter, some of them on the floor, some told to grab their gas masks to protect against tear gas. In an empty Senate chamber, this Trump supporter at the front of the chamber declaring Donald Trump won that election.
Well, the impact of last week's attack on the Capitol building in Washington continues to shake the U.S. President Trump has now approved a state of emergency to run until Joe Biden's been inaugurated as president next week. And the FBI is warning of further possible violence and armed protests by pro-Trump and right-wing groups as security in all state capitals is stepped up. The Democratic Party is also pursuing its twin-track efforts to punish Mr. Trump, either through his removal from office by the Vice President Mike Pence, or by seeking to impeach him. Our North America correspondent Peter Bowes has this.
Washington, 8 days before Joe Biden is due to be sworn in as the next president. Unprecedented security around the Capitol building, where the National Guard is on patrol.
For watching Nelcom TV right now, are you grateful for what God has done in your life? Go now to www.nelcomtv.org and share your testimony with us.